Hello everybody, welcome back to the video, and today we are doing our week 12, I believe, NFL record predictions. So, yeah, last week, me and my dad both went 14-2, so it was a really good week for us. Just missed out on the Giants game and the Vikings game, so that was kind of tough, but still a good week regardless. That now moves us to 92-61 for me and 89-64 for him. So it's still a close race. Still a close race. But we both got winning records. That's really all I'm here for. Word of the day is ribeye or some variation of that. It's either like ribeye or ribeye. I don't know. He said something like that. We're gonna say it's ribeye. So yeah, don't feel like calling him back. Let's get on to it. So, first game of the day, we got the Texans versus the Dolphins. And look, it's the Texans going up a team that hasn't lost with the quarterback that is currently playing. Tua has yet to lose a game this year, and he's going up against the Texans. I mean, the Texans are kind of a cool team. They do have spark, they're energetic, they're a young team, and they make games really competitive sometimes, and it's really cool to watch them. However, they're going up against the Dolphins, and I really just don't see them taking Tua's first loss. I just don't see it happening with the way both of these teams are and just how their rosters look, really. I've got to take the Dolphins here, and so does my dad. Really do like the Texans, but got to give it to the Dolphins. Next up, we got a straight banger game. We got the Bengals versus the Titans, a rematch of like whatever they played in the playoffs. By the way, absolute dime right there by Josh Allen. But anyways, rematch of whatever that game was where freaking what's his name got sacked like 7 times, Joe Burrow, and Ryan Tannehill threw like 3 picks, but it's okay. He'll play better this game. So look, I really do like this matchup. It's cool kind of seeing both teams. I don't know. I just like the look of it, like the Titans versus the Bengals. I don't know. It seems like an important game. And it kind of is. Both of these teams are doing really well. Titans, who did they play last week? Who did the Titans play last week? Who did the Tennessee Titans play last week? Oh, they didn't. They didn't play last week. So that's really good for the Titans. The Titans, a little bit older team, a really physical team. Derrick Henry, obviously a really physical player, gets a lot of carries, has to take a break every now and then. And now he's coming off of his bye week. He's going to be energized. His muscles are going to be, ready to go. Ryan Tannehill, a little bit older quarterback, needs some time to rest. He's getting that bye week here today. Or he's coming off of that bye week today. So, and then they're going up against the Bengals. And the Bengals... Who did the Bengals play? Who did the Bengals play? Oh, they played the Steelers. Offense looked really good against the Steelers, but they also gave up 30 points to Kenny Pickett. So, I'm really not sure. Did pull out the win. Divisional game, it's always tough. But, I really don't think the Bengals have looked as good as the Titans this year. Titans really running the ball down people's mouths. And Ryan Tannehill, he's playing solid. I don't see Ryan Tannehill throwing 3 picks in this game. And, with all the rest the Titans have gotten, I've got to give it to the Titans here. Gonna be a good game. Should be a good game. So, yeah. Next up, we got the Broncos versus the Panthers. Rematch of, like, Super Bowl 50 or something. I don't know, when Peyton Manning played Cam Newton, whatever Super Bowl that was. Yeah. So anyways, kind of a cool matchup. Obviously neither team is in Super Bowl form right now. But it's okay. It's okay. They got Russell Wilson versus Baker Mayfield. Little bit different. Actually, let me see who is starting for the Carolina Panthers. Because this could... I don't know. I don't know who they're playing. Because Baker Mayfield didn't have a great game last week. But he was also playing in the wind. Had a couple of dropped balls. Really, I don't put much of the blame on him. It was just kind of a tough game to play in, going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. With wind, your receivers aren't catching anything. It's tough. Let's see what the coaches thought of that. Matt Rule got hired to Nebraska, by the way, so that was kind of cool. I don't need the roster, I need the depth chart. Sam Darnold is starting? Are you serious? Alright, well, Sam Darnold is starting in this game, so that makes me kind of rethink my prediction here. Okay. Alright, so the Broncos playing the Panthers. It is at the Panthers, but look, man, they've got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is not the greatest player in the world. Kind of rusty now, hasn't played in like a year, hasn't played since the preseason. I don't think it's going to look too good for Sam Darnold here. Third string quarterback going in to play up against the Broncos with that really good defense. Just, the Broncos don't really have an offense, but Carolina's defense hasn't been the greatest this year, and I think Russell Wilson could muster out 10 points to beat Sam Darnold. So I think I'm going to give the win to the Broncos here over the Panthers. However, my dad is going to give it to the Panthers. I'm not going to lie, I had the Panthers winning this game, but Sam Darnold's freaking starting, so interesting. So, yeah, next up, we got the... Ooh, who is starting for the Jets? Is Mike White starting? Let me check. We got the Bears versus the Jets. Mike White is starting. Me personally, I'd like to see Joe Flacco in there, but we got Mike White starting. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so Bears versus the Jets. Bears had a really good week last week going up against the Falcons. Only lost by 3 points. Played a pretty good game. Justin Fields looked really good, was running the ball all over us. Giving his team some time to get open, obviously, running around in the backfield. Some questionable calls there late in the game, running the ball when he's already hurt, and they just kind of ran the ball for a couple yards with Justin Fields when you got a minute on the clock. Kind of questionable, but I'm glad because the Falcons came out with a dub. Now I just need the Bucs to lose today and the Falcons to get another dub. So yeah. Okay, anyways. So yeah. But the Bears did play really well last week, even though they did lose. And now they're going up against the Jets with Mike White starting at quarterback. After a tough loss, I think. Who did the Jets play last week? Who did the New York Jets play last week? She's kind of stupid sometimes. I really don't think it's going to tell me. Oh, the Patriots. Had a tough loss last week, losing 3-10, losing on a punt return to the Patriots. Really, offense did not look good, and so they benched Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was, he wasn't taking any responsibility for it. And so they said, you know what, you'll sit the bench then. And now Mike White is playing. Maybe he'll have another superstar day. That's what I'm looking for because I am taking the Jets today. Just with the way the Jets have looked, even though they didn't have a great game last week, the Jets held the Patriots to 3 points on defense. I mean, 10 points if you're including special teams, but, freak the special teams. I don't blame that on the defense. So the defense held the Patriots to 3 points, and that is amazing. So the defense is still really good. Still a really young team. I love the spark that they have. Going up against the Bears, who, haven't been the greatest, haven't really found a way to win games. So I think I got to take the Jets here. I mean, the offense still looks really good, even though, Mike White is playing. But, hey, he could still have a really good game. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm taking the Jets, and so is my dad. So, yeah. Next up, we got the Falcons versus the Commanders. And now, you guys already know I'm not picking against the Falcons for the rest of the year now that we have playoff hopes. So, yeah. So obviously I'm taking the Falcons. But going into this game, the Commanders have officially started Taylor Heinicke. So Taylor Heinicke will be playing in this game. Kind of interesting to see what will happen. Now that he's officially a starter, really nothing changes, but it's kind of cool because, he's not just the replacement now. He's like the guy now. So, maybe he might choke a little now. I don't know, but Taylor Heinicke is going to be playing. It is always tough to stop Taylor Heinicke. Really sparky player, really gets the team going. Just a really good team player, and he leads them to wins. I mean, what can I say? Won, like, I think the last 3 in a row, beat the Eagles, one of the best teams in the league. I mean, they've been looking really good with Taylor Heinicke, and now they're going up against the Falcons, who just came off of a close win to the Bears. The Bears, of all teams. And the Bears have been looking good in the last couple of weeks, but still, it's the Bears. Just barely won that game. I don't know what to say. Defense did look good in that final drive, but I really don't know what to tell you. Realistically, I should probably take the Commanders, but I'm taking the Falcons. However, my dad is taking the Commanders, so yeah, personal choice, I suppose. Next up, we got the Bucks versus the Browns. Frick the Bucks. We're gonna beat them. We're gonna come first in the division. I'm taking the Browns, baby. All right. Well, anyways, so yeah, Buccaneers versus Browns. The Browns have played really well this year. They haven't necessarily been winning games, but they have been really competitive. One of the worst defenses in the league, but their offense has looked pretty good at keeping them in games. You know, not the most electric offense, not, the greatest, but they are keeping their team in games, and they're keeping it competitive. And with the way that Tom Brady has looked and with how the Bucs have looked, I know they've won their last couple of games, but they haven't looked amazing. And now, they're going up against the Browns, who have the worst defense in the league. Don't get me wrong. But Tom Brady still hasn't been scoring points regardless of what team they're playing. And with the way the Browns' offense has looked, I think I gotta give it to the Browns at home. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one to the Browns. However, my dad is gonna give it to the Bucs. There's probably a little bit of bias here, trying to get first in the division. So, I'm like just visualizing them losing. I don't know. So, yeah. Next up, we got the Ravens versus the Jaguars. And I forgot what I was going to say. I don't know. So it's the Ravens versus the Jaguars. The Ravens just came off of a pretty good defensive game against the Panthers. There's a good bit of wind. The offense put up 13 points. It's okay. It was really tough weather. So, they'll get over it. But the defense did play really well. And now they're going up against the Jaguars, who haven't been really piecing together wins. Good team, they've got potential. I just haven't seen them really use it all that well. Haven't been winning many games, but I still think they're a good team. I think they're a competitive team. They just can't finish the game, and so I gotta give this one to the Ravens, and so does my dad. Ravens still looking like one of the best teams in football. Lamar Jackson's still playing really well, and so yeah. Next up, we got the Raiders versus the Seahawks. And the Raiders just came off of a win last week, I believe, going up against the Broncos. So that was a pretty good win. Put up 22 points against that Broncos defense, which is pretty good, I would say. And only allowed, 13 points, I think, to Russell Wilson, which, I mean, it's debatable whether that's good or not. So, yeah, they did play really good last week. However, they're going up against a really good Seattle Seahawks team. I'm not exactly sure. Who did the Seahawks play last week? Who did the Seattle Seahawks play last week? They didn't play last week. Okay. So they didn't play last week. They got their bye week. Geno Smith has the time to visualize the win against the Raiders today. It's at home. They're going to come back strong. I really don't see the Seahawks losing this game with the way they've been playing. They've just been a really good team, and the Raiders have just not been piecing together many wins, although they did have a pretty good game against the Broncos last week, but hey, it's the Broncos. So I got to give this one to the Seahawks at 12-man field or whatever it's called. Is it called 12th-man field, or is it like another name? But they just that's like the nickname. I don't know. But they're at a cool stadium. They're at home. I'm taking the Seahawks, and so is my dad. So yeah. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Cardinals, and yeah. So Chargers going up against the Cardinals. You guys know how I feel about the Cardinals. Not the greatest team. Obviously, haven't looked like the greatest team. And the Chargers just came off of a really, really close game against the Chiefs on, like, I think it was Sunday Night Football. I'm not sure, but it was obviously West Coast time, so I don't really know. But really close game. I think it went into overtime. Maybe not, but still, really close game. Lost by 3 points, 30-27. They played really well. It's the Chiefs. They're one of the best teams in football. You're not always gonna win, but they still looked really good. And now they're going up against the Cardinals, who haven't looked the greatest this year. And I really just don't see them losing to Arizona. Even though it is at Arizona, frick the Cardinals, man. I'm taking the Chargers. The new Warzone just came out, so Kyler Murray, I know he's been grinding on that. So I gotta take the Chargers here, and so does my dad. So, yeah. Next up, we got the Saints versus the 49ers. Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting game. The Saints have been looking pretty good. They've been winning some games. Andy Dalton playing pretty decent. I'm not exactly sure who they played last week. Who did the Saints play last week? They played the Rams. Had a good game against the Rams. I'm not going to lie. Won by 7 points against the defending Super Bowl champions. But, Rams haven't really looked that good this year. But, the Saints have been piecing together wins. I'm not saying they haven't had the hardest schedule I've ever seen, but they're playing good. I can't knock them for it. However, they're going up against the 49ers, and Jimmy Garoppolo has been playing really well. That run game has looked good. And I've just liked what I've seen from the 49ers in the last couple of weeks. I'm not exactly sure who they played last week. Who did the 49ers play last week? The Cardinals. Oh, yeah, they played the Cardinals. Won 38-10. So, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's getting in the groove. They got Christian McCaffrey. I really don't see the Saints winning this game. It is at San Francisco, so a little bit different climate. Far from home. I gotta give this one to the 49ers. And, yeah, next up we got the Rams versus the Chiefs. And, look, the Rams have not looked good this year. I haven't watched many of their games because they're not good, and they're playing on West Coast time, so I really just don't have the time to watch them, and I'm not making time to watch them. They're going up against the Chiefs, who are one of the best teams in football, as I've said many times. And I really just don't see them beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. I just don't see it happening. Just with the way the team has looked. Obviously they're not winning games. The Chiefs are. I gotta give it to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm gonna be honest. Haven't watched much of either team since they are a West Coast team. Well, the Chiefs aren't even a West Coast team, but they always play teams on the West Coast. So they play at like 4:25, even though they're in freaking Kansas. Or, no, Kansas City's not in Kansas, actually. What state is it in? What state is Kansas City in? I forgot. Okay, well, we're not going to worry about it. But the Chiefs are going to win. I'm taking the Chiefs at home. So, yeah. Next up, we got the Packers versus the Eagles. And the Packers going up against one of the best teams in the NFL. They've had some shining moments. They've had some not so shining moments. I'm not sure who they played last week. Who did the Packers play last week? They did not. So, hey, Aaron Jones, a physical running back, he's going to get some rest going into this game. Aaron Rodgers, an old quarterback, he's going to get some rest going into this game. So that is really good for the Packers. However, they're going up against the best team in football after not playing football for a week. So, I can't say that I'm believing in them to win this game. Give me a second to add some clips. But, as I was saying, I really don't see them winning this game, going up against the Eagles. Even though the Eagles did have kind of a down week last week, lost to the Commanders, then went up against Jeff Saturday and the Colts, and barely squeaked out a win by 1 point. So, interesting. Jeff Saturday, interesting topic right now, but we're not talking about him right now. So, yeah. Eagles did have a rough week last week and the week before that, but I really don't see them losing to the Packers here. There's just no way. After going like 8-0 to lose a week, win by 1, and then lose again, I don't see it after going 8-0. I couldn't believe it. By the way, That's my first ever goal online in NHL. So, clipped it. I'm getting better. Yeah, my competitive rating's like a 460 right now. So I've gone down from literally the beginning rating. But it's okay. It's okay. So yeah. Anyways, who's next? Okay, next up we got the Steelers versus the Colts. And as I was just saying, talking about the Colts, they have looked good. They got their first win against the Raiders, had a really good game against them. I mean, won a close game, and then they went up against the Eagles. You know, they only put up 16 points, but they held the Eagles to 17. That's a really good game when you're going up against the best team in football to just, have that kind of game. It was just a really good game. I don't know. It's a new head coach, and you're going up against the best team in football, coming off of a loss, and you're only going to lose by 1 point. He has looked good, or the team has looked good now that he's there. That's kind of, I don't know. It's been interesting to see. And now he's going up against the Steelers. With how this team has looked in the past 2 weeks, beating the Raiders and then almost beating the Eagles, I can't see them losing to the Steelers here. It is a little interesting though when you think about it. He's going up against a rookie. He might not have the game plan to go up against a rookie. Rookies are interesting. They're going to do things that, aren't expected. They're going to do the spectacular. They're going to do the freaking stupid stuff. They're going to do random things because they're a rookie. They're learning. And, it happens sometimes. And so it's kind of interesting to go up against a rookie quarterback especially. And, it's a new coach. So maybe, I don't know. That might be how the Steelers end up winning just because he's a rookie quarterback and he doesn't know how to beat a rookie quarterback. It's kind of interesting. But I am going to give the win to the Colts here. So, yeah. Next up, we got the Bills. By the way, there's no more clips. So you guys are just going to watch me spectate for like a second. That was the clip, me losing at 0 seconds. So, yeah, there's one more game left. I'm not adding another clip. So, finally, we got the Bills versus the Patriots. And now this is really interesting. The Patriots have been looking pretty good in the last couple of games, and they're getting into that finals and to that end of season form. Okay, you know what? Actually, I will add another clip because we're running out of time here. So give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So we got the Patriots versus the Bills, and as I was saying, the Patriots are getting into the end of season form, looking to make a playoff push in a really tough division, and they've been playing really well in the last couple of games, going up against I'm going to say one of the best teams in football a lot, because there are a lot of best teams in football. Went up against the Vikings, one of the best teams in football, on Thanksgiving, and, had a really close game. Obviously, they didn't win, but, it was a good game from the Patriots. Really close against the Vikings. They're a good team, but it was a good performance from the Patriots, and that's what you want to see. That's just what you want to see. Came off and had a really, close game the week before that, going up against the Jets, a divisional opponent, and they came out with the dub. They're finishing games. They finished the game really well, against the Jets. Beat a divisional opponent. Defense looked great, and just had that spark to win the game at the very end. And then they had a really competitive game against one of the best teams in football. And, that's what you think of when you think of the Patriots. They got Bill Belichick coaching them. Bill Belichick is looking to make the playoffs. Mac Jones is a really, I'm not saying he is Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's as good as Tom Brady, but he's a Tom Brady type archetype, and he will lead your team when it's close. He doesn't get, I wouldn't say he gets nervous. Obviously, if he gets pressured, in the pocket, he gets a little nervous. But I wouldn't say he gets nervous based on situations or anything like that. I think he's going to help lead this team to the playoffs, and I think they're going to have a really good end of season. And, and as for the Bills, they have not looked great, if I'm being honest with you. And so I've got to give the win to the freaking. I got to give the win to the Patriots. Bills haven't looked great. Josh Allen hasn't been playing amazing. They're kind of down right now, and this is the time for the Patriots to take over the division. Just beat the Jets. Now they just got to beat the Bills, and I think this is where they do it. So yeah, that is my prediction for Week 12. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. By the way, that was my first goal. That was like the first goal that I've ever seen in online play. Bryce scored it. It was really cool. We were playing pro clubs for the first time. Never played it before. Really fun. Bryce didn't seem to like it, but it was really fun. So yeah, anyways guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time. Ending at 11:52 before kickoff. See y'all.